Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Trifive Guy, and in this video we're going to turn an 18-inch steering wheel into a smaller 16-inch wheel. Stick around. Alright guys, like I said, this is a 57 Chevy 150 steering wheel that I'm going to use on my 150. I'm going to modify this wheel down to a 16-inch wheel because I've got power steering and they're huge, they're bulky in there, and a 16-inch wheel is what's needed. A lot of people go to a 59, 60 Impala wheel in Tri-5s. Look, each to their own. I don't particularly like that style steering wheel in a Tri-5. My personal opinion is people put that steering wheel in because it's what's available. It's still old school, and they don't want to use the aftermarket ones you can buy. You can buy 15-inch steering wheels. The Chinese-made ones. I don't think there's anyone in the United States that makes a steering wheel here that's a 16-inch. The 15-inch is, I think, too small and very bulky around here. There is an aftermarket 16-inch wheel that uses the factory horn ring you can buy, and it's 16-inch, and you can use this standard ring, but it's not steel reinforced like the factory one. See, there's a wire in there, I don't know, about 3/8 thick, that runs in here and connects to this center hub here. Here's the one I modified. It's a 210 wheel, 210 Bel Air, pretty much all the same. Here's the section I took out of this wheel, probably be about 5 inches wide, and here's a good cross section of it with the steel inside of it. There's another view of it. So that wire runs in through here, across into here, and what I do is, as you can see on this table, there's a jig, and I cut through here and through there, remove the center, then I work out exactly where I'm going to cut it. So when I put this back on, I utilize where I cut it. You'll see it what I'm talking about when I get closer. But yeah, that's a good wheel. It's got a few cracks in it. It's a perfect candidate. It's a 150 wheel, which will look nice in my 150. This one here, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Probably put it in the gasser. That's my plan. And as you can tell, I've used already the putty that I use to repair the steering wheel, and this is just raw. There's no primer. I haven't done nothing yet to it. I've fixed up a lot of the cracks, so you know it's still got to be obviously a little bit of glazing putty here and there to fill up any holes. But as you can see, I've got the profile pretty well right, and almost ready for some glazing putty, sand the whole wheel down to that black, and then primer, like a high fill primer, and sand that down and paint it the Inca silver or whatever color that is going to be. I might paint that blue, the same as the dash, to match it and look nice with the chrome ring and the 210 steering wheel emblem. This one here will retain the 150 horn button, but just be perfect for the cars with power steering, and it makes it a lot easier to get in. Especially if you're a big guy, those steering wheels really get in your way and it'll look good. So guys, I'll just get into this here. This is the jig that I made for it. It reduces the 18 down to a 16. This is for line... When this is cut down to the 16, this hub sits into here. So this will sit into here nicely, and it'll position this at the right height where it's got to be in relation to where it was originally. So what I do first, what I will do is I'll go ahead, I'll mark it here, and I'll mark it here, and cut out that metal section, and then I'll pick a place where to cut it, and I'll put it in and I'll cut that off, the excess off, so it'll look like that. You see what I'm saying? So what I do is, once the steering wheel's, this is out and this is slotted, it's just a round sort of a ring, and it doesn't lose the shape if you put it in here. as that one did not lose its shape at all. So like I said, I'll cut it through here, I'll wind it in, and then I'll cut out that amount again, and then just tack it for now, make sure it's all good, and then work out where this is going to sit. So let me start by marking it and then cutting it. All right, as you can see, I've gone through one side. Try not to chop into this side of it too much. Like, don't try to cut, beyond, say, this edge here, that's across here. Not too much, because although we've got to clear up this area when we weld it back up, if this doesn't sit back into this position, let's say if it goes there, or there, or goes on this one, if you've taken too much off, you have to build it back up with the epoxy. Don't worry about how far you go this way. I mean, obviously don't go cutting it here, but you're going to be taking off some material here when it reduces inside. So that's pretty good. And I'll go cut this one off. I've got it cut off. It's all loose. We're going to disregard this for a moment, for a while. And as you can see, that's the center section. And you can tell, right, if you look in there, you can see the metal bracing that runs to the middle of the hub there. Here's the other side. Now, don't forget, this gets shortened each end as well. As you can see, with all that sort of, the way it used to turn in to go to the hub or to the spoke, you got plenty of grinding and sanding to get that looking like this part of the steering wheel. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a slice through this one. You see how this is the other end of the spoke where it attaches to the middle hub? I'm going to cut that through here, and that'll start to get us our reduction in the steering wheel. So I'm going to cut it through here, going to go zap, and then take this tape off and start winding it in, but I'm going to do it upside down so as not to foul that there. Remember, this is the face, so just put face so you know, right? Yep, obviously another way. I'm just saying because you might accidentally put it upside down with the finger grips facing up and this facing towards you, and then you're going to go, oh, I made a mistake. You're going to weld it all in, you've got to cut it all out again. So make sure it looks like, this is the face. This will go down into my jig because of this. Yeah, I can grind all that now, but all I want to do is I want to cut this, get the reduction done. Then as it's a unit, weld it back again into the 16-inch configuration. I can start grinding all that down so I can fit the hub back in and start modifying this center section with the spoke and the hub there. I'm referring that to a hub. I guess it's like a hub, right? So, and these are the spokes. And if you're doing a 55, it would be or 56, they've got 3 spokes. So you'd have to repeat that to the, when you go cut it off to the third one. I don't have a 55 wheel here. I don't have a 55 at all, or 56. So obviously I'm working on 57. I've got these 3/4 inch PEX things. You don't have to use this if you've got someone else to help you. I don't have anyone here at the moment. So they're just 3/4 inch PEX clamps. Like I said, and then you got to I've got one here just sitting here, but the idea is to kind of like get this into here, and it's a fight, but I'm telling you, you'll get it, and then try to hold it down somewhat so it'll help you hold it. It'll give you that third hand, but sometimes it takes me a bit. Right, let's try to get this back in. Fight, bit of a fight to get it in, but like you get the idea if you just start screwing this into this position over here, and this keeps on slipping on me. But like I said, I'll fight and get this in, get it close, and then work out exactly how much I've got to trim off. There you go. Here's another one there. So I know at this stage that if I trim off, some of this here and some of this here, it'll allow me to, get this back into here. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, but here. But I know that I have to trim off around about that much you know what I mean? Yeah, I can go ahead and just trim off this much or very close to it and then retrim it. But like I said, if you can get that in one piece, you know what I mean, you'd be almost there. So I'm almost getting there. It's got to relearn that shape, you know what I mean? But let me trim off this piece here and this piece here, and I'll be back. All right, guys, as you can see, with the help of the PEX 3/4 clamps here, you get these at Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever hardware stores have got them. Pretty cheap. You can get a bag of 10, you can get a bag of 100. And it's just that third hand. Imagine trying to hold that in there while it's under pressure. So you got to, when you start putting it into the jig, you got to make sure you constantly push on the outside and always check that it's hard up against all the walls around and nice and tight. And see, obviously it's starting to reduce in size now. Now it's not going to be oblong or out of round, because it'll be hard up against that perfectly round circle. But the thing is, from here to here, you have to try to maybe just manipulate this, bend it somewhat, get ready to weld, because you've got to weld this back up to that, to this side here, right? You got to have this cleaned up somewhat. But see how I've utilized the joining on where the spoke was, and hopefully if it lands okay, I'll be putting the spoke back onto that point. So the only sort of cleaning I have to do is wherever the other side of the spoke probably hit, if I go this way, it'll probably hit here. I have to clean up that area, and then I have to fix this here and make that part of the, you know, the finger depressions. Let me just try to bend this from say here to here, get that lined up, then I'll clean it and just put a tack on it just to hold it, and then I can release it from it and weld it fully right around. Right. All right, guys, as you can see, it is now sitting in there, probably about a 1/16 away. I've got it cleaned up enough for now to get a couple of good spots in there just to hold this as one unit, as you know, as it's supposed to be. Make sure it's all tight around here and it's sitting flat on the board, and it is. So now I'll just take it over to the MIG over there, and I'll just put a couple of tacks in it, and then the next thing is to work out the center. So guys, I just put a couple of tacks on. I got one there, as you can see, and there's one on the underneath. I shot it from this side. You see this bit of metal that's sticking out here? Well, if you remember, I cut it at the spoke bar that went into here. So I'm going to try and hit that with the spoke coming back in, so it's where it was, sort of thing, on this side. But yeah, it won't hit that one over there. It'll be over here somewhere. So I would have to bare an area where it's going to hit, weld it there, clean that up, and then clean this up. Here's the KBS epoxy that I use when I do the steering wheels, and a closer look at this 150 wheel. This is like, there's no Bondo on this. That's all just the KBS that I've sanded and got it pretty damn close. I reckon I can get away with just 2-part filler with that. I also did all the cracks. Let me not remove that. I did a lot of the cracks in here. I still got a little bit of sanding on this, but you know, I got the height. You got to get the heights across here right, you know, and there's no, that's how that is. I got to, as you can see, just round about here a little bit more, just like this side here. I've done it already. I've rounded it more, and then there's, I had to put these. This is where one of the spokes was. See, over here. So now obviously I had to put the filler around here, so now it's got the spoke here, like, and I got cracks taken care of. There's one right there. Listen, you can spend a lot of time with these, you know, V-ing the cracks, which I've done, filling them, but who knows in 6 months time if one's going to develop right here. You're rolling the dice with when you're using a used steering wheel. And I've had plenty of guys say to me, can you make me one? I said, yeah, but you know, I take pictures, but what's going to stop it from cracking there? So it's up to you to go ahead. You can see that's where the old right, this section here, that's where the old spoke was, and it moved to here because it was reduced, right? So when we made this smaller, it reduced the size and it moved the spoke from here to here. But as you can see, it's going to be great when it's done. Like I said, I'll sand that out. But here it is here. It's the KBS epoxy filler. It's a 2-part filler, and here it is here. It's expensive stuff, but if you want the right job, you use this stuff. It's good stuff. I like it. Okay, guys, so I tacked the underneath, as I said. I took it out of the jig, and I V'd that out pretty good. So now I'm just going to weld all that back up. And that should have plenty of hold. So let me weld that, and then I'll be back, and then we're going to start doing the spoke and hub. All right, so it's welded all the way around, and I sat the hub and spoke assembly on top, and I loosely marked where I'm going to bear the wheel. So here, as you can see on the grip part of it, on there, see that there, I'm going to take all the rubber off, or the plastic, and do it this side too, but I'm not going to cut any of the metal yet. I probably can cut, you know, I'll put it back on, mark it, get it closer, and I'll do it that way. I'm not going to just go whole. I bared this area here, as you can see. I got a cut down. I'm going to go a little bit narrower on this one, just this section here. I got this pretty well right, but look what happened here. I went to answer the phone before, and I left this on the bench, and it rolled off and smashed on the ground and knocked this off. So I'm going to have to fix that. You see a lot of these steering wheels broken like that. So it's an opportunity to show how I'm going to fix that area, but I really didn't want to fix that area, if you know what I mean. Pretty disappointed that happened. You can't cry over spilt milk. So I'm going to fix that, and I'll show how to do that. What I do is you can't V it very much, just a little bit on this edge here, you know what I mean? But just to take that sharp bit away right here on this end. But what I can do is I can drill small, couple of 3 or 4 small holes. I've got small drills, and put like welding wire or strong wire in there, just thin, just for a bit of reinforcement, if you know what I mean. And then put my KBS in there and build that edge up. That, you know, like at least one here, one in the middle coming up, and one that goes sideways. So it's got something, you know, a little bit of strength there. Welding wire is pretty flimsy. I've got some pretty thin, strong wire somewhere, but you know, like a couple little holes and glue it in there as good as I can, and then put this back in. But got a bit of modifying to do here. Knock this back right here, about there, maybe a bit more. As you can see, I'm trying to get the level. Now, see, this has to be, this is level here. All right, that bubble's level, as you can see. Got the table, and I'm doing it as in the direction of the steering wheel would be. And as you can see, this table's pretty level right there, that bubble's level. And then this is high, yeah, on this side. See, it's high on this side, obviously, because this has to be cut, and that'll fit down further. This is the right angle. I can probably put it, once I do that, I can put a tack weld on this and just hold it, and then grind this back. You know, grind that black stuff back. And then I'll get on to repairing that. But it's getting there. Things happen, yeah, so can't really complain. It's getting there, and it'll be fixed. It'll be okay. Just a bit disappointed. All right, guys, I'm just going to take a shave off there, get this sort of set. Probably just put 2 little tacks and pull it out of the jig, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So my little screw up here, I kind of like 45 this edge here. I'm going to put a bit of something behind there to stop it from obviously going in there too far, the KBS or getting in this groove. And I put some, it's a paper clip. And I've gone from this side all the way into there. I've drilled enough so I could slide it back into here. And I've got plenty of height. It's in the middle, so it's not gonna, you know, overhang. So I think that'll be better than not putting anything there. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just a bit of reinforcement. I don't know what else to put in there. I've done them before, but bigger ones where I had plenty of room to put, you know, I use little tacks and put them in just, you know, straight into it like that, and had the heads hanging out something. And I've never actually, there's drill all over there on my 150s like that. It's been done like that, and no cracks, no nothing. So like I said, I'm going to put something behind there to hold it and mix up just a tiny amount of that KBS and put in there, and then so it'll dry overnight. I'm not going to worry about any of this yet. I tack welded this. I just tack welded it on for now, for tonight, and I've tack welded over here, and yeah, it looks like a something. Whoop, see, that's no good what I just did, but anyway, yeah. So it's getting there. It really is. So it's centered. It fits in the jig good. So guys, this is the KBS 2-part epoxy. You got a part A and a part B. Part A is let me see. Part A is the grey. Part A is the grey, and part B is this brown tan. You got to mix these together. You just keep mixing together for a good five minutes till it's all uniformed, no streaks, no nothing. And I'm not going to actually show you me mixing this stuff, but let me mix it, and I'll do a more in-depth sort of a repair later on in the video. But I just want to get that repair done, because that's all I'm going to do for tonight. Just get that done, and just get this done so it's done. I've got way too much, but so that should do that repair easily. So I'll be back. But basically, my filthy hands here, you got to really get in and start. You roll it like that. You know what I mean? Fold it, roll it, and just, you know what I mean? Roll it, fold it, and make it all uniformed. It'll go grey, the whole lot. But yeah, let me get back and I'll start putting it in. So guys, it's pretty well, had to go wash my hands. I was just filthy. So I said I was gonna put a backboard, and I remember when I did this, I did have something sandwiched in there. It was quite considerable, but I think I can get away without doing it. And you can use water with this. You can actually put this stuff on underwater. So you can actually put water on it to make it, to smooth it out. So I'm gonna work out, just gonna sit this here, sort of like get it close. I'm gonna push this into there. You gotta make sure it's nice and firm in there, you know, like really push it into where it's got to go. Try not to make it so bulky that, because you're going to sand this stuff, you know what I mean? So, but really push it into that metal, and that I put there, and as you can see, it's going to be a bit of a pain, but hey, I broke it. I got to fix it, and I'm 100% sure it's going to be fine. Now, I won't stick the paint, obviously, but of where I want it, there should be plenty of paint removed. So I probably have to do this a couple of times. See how it's sticking to my hands? I've got to get some water. Put some water on your hands, and it'll make it, you know what I mean, more pliable. Won't stick to your hand, I should say. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me come back and I'll get it closer and the right shape. Might have to add some, might have to take some off. As you can see, I'm going to use something to straighten the back.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever
never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Okay guys, so let me show you what I've done. There's that piece that I sanded. Still needs a little bit of touching up, but nothing terrible. There's the side of it. Come up all right. The inside of it just needs a bit of a clean up, touch up. This stuff's pretty great actually. I like it. It's got that reinforcement I put in there just for fun. I've got to cut this back here. I've got to clean all this up first and finish welding it. As you can see, I've just tacked it on there, but I'll get some good welds in there, clean it all up first so there's not a lot of heat. Weld that up the other side as well. Like I said, I just tacked it on there for now, a couple of tacks there and there. I'll clean that up, cut it here. And this is where the spoke, this is where this spoke was over here, right? And of course, I'm just going to grind down a little bit more of that steel there. You can see where it's shiny right there to the left. Just a little bit, put a little bit on that, and then get the finger grips, you know, all the way to match these ones here. But I've got it pretty close now. Finger grips are back in. Okay guys, I welded all this up all the way around, both sides, all welded. Just got a bit of grinding to do, but yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, as you can see, if you look down there, I've made holes, and I use this little Dremel type bit here. It's a 1/8, just got off Temu, but I kind of like drill little, you know, just put little divots in there, around there too, down here if you can see, whoop, you know, around there you see it. So when I mix the KBS epoxy, done over here too. Okay guys, now we're going to start putting on this stuff here. ABS epoxy. Going to clean this up. I've already blown it off. So this is alcohol. You can use alcohol or so here's the KBS new metal. I'm going to 50-50. So cut through here for both of these. So it's 50-50. Now I'm just going to do the repairs to the steering wheel first, where I joint them and not worry about the cracks yet. I've got there's one piece there. It's part 8. Part B. Part B. Now you gotta mix this stuff together, put it back in a Ziploc bag. Now, just roll it in your hand like this. Okay, so a bit of a more rolling here. make sure there's no streaks in it. Looks pretty good. A few minutes. Now, I've got to make sure, probably see those holes. I've got to really jam it in there, you know, like get it in there, force it into the. It does stick pretty good. Might have to do it a couple of times here. Sure, I can V the edges, but what I do is once I get it in there, get it close. Oh, I nearly dropped it on the ground. I come back and I actually V this out, or you can V it when you start, you know, when you put it on. There's one there, you see the hole? Just got to push it in there to hold it. It'll go in there. I've actually pulled it out to see if it was in there, and it does. Hold it in there. I'll be back when I get it close. I usually let that sit overnight and give it a good sand, and if I need a little bit more I'll put it on, but I'll start with the cracks first around the hub, get them in, get them filled, and if I've got any for that area there where the spoke was, but that just needs a tiny bit in there. Yeah, so first go, and I'll shape that, get it pretty close, and then put another go. You can see where it's not 100% lined up, but very easy to fill that. Like I said, do all the cracks, get all that done. So this is getting there. All right, so as you can see, this one here is a darker grey. It's because I put it on before I did this lighter version, but this will go the same colour as that. Now, I'm pretty sure I have to put more on, very little bit more on. Like I said, I want to do these first. I'll tip it up and the back a little extra, so I've got something to sand back. And here, and of course I've got to put a little bit more on here. I can still manipulate that a bit though, and get it closer, but maybe a little touch up after. Okay guys, so it's the next morning, and this stuff is really dried good. There it is there. Started sanding this side, so I'm going to do a lot of more shaping on here. But okay, so I rough sanded the epoxy down on both sides. I have to do a little bit more filling here on the back here, just a little bit, chips and stuff. But what I'll do first is grind out all the all these ones here. So like I said, I'm not going to go crazy and try to do it all at once. So I'm just going to grind all the cracks out and then start filling them up, like, you know, 3 or 4 at a time. Like I'll do this face first and then I'll do that face. You know what I'm saying? So just, I'm not going to go crazy. I'll also fill up that one and any sort of low spots that I can see. Now I'm going to leave the paint on it. I'm going to clean it first with alcohol like I did with the rest of it after I grind it, and leave the paint on. So the paint is obviously not supposed to be there when I sand it. So if I expose all the black that's under the paint, then I know I've down to the right level. Don't forget, I'll be priming the areas first, sanding them, then re-priming the whole steering wheel. But it's getting there. Everything's sanded off right there. All the areas are ground at 45 down to the as far as I could get the Dremel tool there. All the cracks are gone. Cleaned it, alcohol right there, sprayed it, cleaned it off, blew it out, and like I said, I don't take the color off because I can use that as an indication on how far down I've got to go. So once I start hitting the primal black, whatever it is, I know where I am. So you can see metal there, it's ground down to the metal right there, right where the hub is, that's metal. Same right there, metal. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll start mixing up some KBS on that and put it on. I'll be back after I fill it in. All right guys, I just touched it all up again, and a little bit of water on your fingertips will smooth it out. This stuff's, as I mentioned earlier, this stuff's designed to go on underwater. So it's absolutely okay to wet your fingers and let things slide around a bit. I had to build up this edge just a little bit. A lot of that's getting knocked off. I've got to shape it, but it was a little bit lower than this side over here, so I had to just redo it a bit. No big deal. Put it all in the cracks here. Try to get it as neat in here as you can. You know what I mean? But and really push it into the groove. So that's what I've done. That's all done. I'll lift it up around here. Make sure it's nice. So you make sure you get it all nicely in there, so you don't have to sand forever. And that's what I got left over, just a little bit. Had a little bit of a divot here on this edge, no big deal. Just went over it a bit. And it really does smooth out quite good. So yeah, it looks good. Like I'll let that go for the rest of the day. I've got a few things I've got to do in town. So yeah, ready for another sand, and I must be close. Anything more than this, it's all going to be dolphin glaze filler. So it's so close. Once I sand this, I'll just use 180 to get all this yellow off, and then I'll prime the repairs first. Just a little bit of prime. I'll do both wheels same way. Get all this paint off here. Just mix up enough to just prime the areas, sand that, and then if I've got to do any dolphin glaze, do that then, and then prime the whole lot, both of these. And I want to get this in Inca Silver. All right guys, I don't want to paint inside because the cars are in there, so I've got it outside. It's overcast day. It's warm, so not too bad. I'll just prime them out here. So I'm going to put some, I've got Roberlo 4:1 I'm going to use. I'm just going to prime. I'm going to concentrate on the repairs first, because once I sand that down, I have to re-prime everything again. So I'm not going to go crazy priming the whole wheel, or both of these wheels. But okay, sun's starting to wrap around this corner here. Which is going to be nice. It's already going off. 2 coats of primer. Now, I missed one crack right there. See it? So I'm going to have to grind that out. But this will give me a good look. You can see how right here it's a little bit flat, so I have to shape that. But you can see it now. I missed a little spot there. So this is where you get the final stuff. You can use filler on that one, but if I'm mixing it up for this crack, I can always put it there, clean that out, and put some there. Over on this one here, I missed a little bit more. There's a crack through here and a crack there. That just has to be cleaned out here a bit better. But, you know, a crack there and a crack there. This is the one I'm not painting, guys. This is the one I'm leaving in primer for now. It's going to be the blue one. But, again, you can see the definition in what I've got to do. Like, I need to do a bit of cleaning up in here. And you really can't see it when it's black. It's just hard to see. But this will give you a good indication. You can see that flat spot there. Just a little bit of filler on that one there. Just a little bit of glazing putty. Clean that up, sand it out. Here I got it pretty good. So this is where I kind of like fine tune it, prime it one more time, sand it, and then paint it. But you can see that, you know, like right here, I have to sharpen that line up a little bit better. No big deal, just a little bit of sanding. There's plenty of material there to do that. There I would have to probably add just a little bit of glazing putty. You can just see where it just gets flat there. This side here is exactly how it should be, but no big deal. No big deal. The profiles around here are great on this one. You can see the definition again on the way it goes like that. You know what I mean? And like I said, that'll clean up nicely. I use a pencil to make the lines and follow the line, so I'd mark that to get it nice and crisp with a nice rollover. But yeah, it's come up really, really good. Hey guys, so put the second coat of primer on, just where I did those repairs, and I like to put a bit of fine line tape on to get this curve, you know, just to nail down those curves so they don't go wonky. So now what I'll do is I'll just dust some black satin on there, just very so I can see where I've sanded, and start sanding it down for the final coat of base coat and clear in the Inca Silver. All right, so let me dust some on there and I'll start sanding. All right guys, so I started sanding. I put some guide coat on, and what I use is 320 to sand that. I forgot to mention that earlier. I just go over it with 320. I don't go too aggressive with it. And then I hit it with the Scotch-Brite, a red Scotch-Brite or a grey. I should be using a grey with this one. Probably a grey one. But as you can see, if you remember, I put this tape on here. Okay. That'll give me a nice sort of curve where I repaired this. And I've already taken this side off because you can see that I've guide coated it. You see that? And I've put it on the inside now where it was sanded. So I've sanded all sanded all here, and I sanded all here. And this is what I do. I just take this off, right? And now I follow the line that it created on the inside to get that perfect curve on the inside, and I sand the outside, you see? I'll sand this side now. And that'll get me past where I repaired it. So when you're looking at it, it doesn't go like jagged, or it'll be smooth. So I'll just continue doing that, continue sanding that, both sides, and then wherever the spoke was, you know, I can't even tell where the spoke was originally, where this went into here. Yeah, it's coming up really good now. Okay guys, all sanded. Went over with the grey Scotch-Brite. As you can see, these lines are pretty good now. So they're all sanded nicely. All these corners look good. Tape up the middle. The middle's the grounding for the horn to work. So make sure you never paint the inside of that. I'll flip it over. That's what it looks like from the other side. Same sort of thing. I just left that metal, bare metal. Everything's all sanded, ready to go. You can touch up these if you want, like do a wet on wet, but I'll do a haze coat first. I'll paint the brace coat and it'll be fine. There was no evidence and primer on these anyway. They just painted the silver right over that black. So base coat, just I'll haze it on, let it sit for a couple of minutes and just do a thicker coat, and then you know, 2 or 3 coats of base coat, and then a couple of coats clear. But that's ready to go, so that's the next thing. is put some colour on it, and it should be done. All right, I'll be back when I'm ready to paint it. All right, guys, I'm ready to paint this wheel. The paint's all mixed up, ready to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and get it in colour. I have to do it inside today. I'm gonna cover up this wall here with a tarp so I don't get it all over my door. Covered up the cars, everything else. I'm not gonna be spraying the whole car in here. I'm only doing steering wheel, so there's not gonna be a lot of mess. But anyway, let me get this done, I'll be back. All right, guys, it's the next day. Come up okay. I'm happy with it. It's definitely going to look good on the car. Looks good. Got all these pretty nice. Probably, if you want to go over it to give it a polish, it'll probably come up well. But anyway, the idea was to have a reduced size steering wheel, and that's what we did. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So that's it for this video, guys. Please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification tab so you can see when my next videos come out. Also, I'll just do one more quick video of the paint I used and installing that, taking the other one off and installing that. That'll be just a quick video. I just want to see what it looks like on there. It's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, guys.